News Channel 5 network. This is Urban Outlook. This program sponsored by Connie London, a certified agent at the Insurance Exchange.
And hello and welcome to Urban Outlook. I'm April Eaton. Thank you so much for being with us today. You know, our communities these days are so diverse with so many faces of color that it only makes sense that the places that we go sort of mirror what the community looks like. One place in particular, the Metro Nashville Public School System, is working to make sure that it increases the diversity amongst the teacher ranks and also in the administration ranks as well. Joining me today to talk a little bit about the efforts of Metro Nashville Public Schools is Deborah Story. She is the Human Resources Director for the school system.
Chief Human Resources Officer.
Human Resources Officer.
Okay.
Thank you so much for correcting me there, and thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So as I said, you know, our communities look so different these days, where we've got all sorts of different cultures and images of people and what we look like these days, a mixture, a multicultural pot and mixture of people. So it almost seems to make sense that our school systems, that our places of employment should mirror what our communities look like. You all have an effort underway to try to do some more diversification. Can you talk just a little bit about the mission and the goal?
Well, I would be happy to. Nashville Public Schools are about 70% minority, and about 50% of those minorities are African Americans, followed by about 22% Hispanic, and then others, Asian and other nationalities. When you look at our workforce, it's just the opposite. 70% of our teachers are white, 20% are African American, and then the numbers are much smaller as we look at the rest of the workforce, teaching workforce. We are working really hard, and this is not just a Nashville challenge. This is a nationwide challenge to have more people of color in the classrooms. And I venture to say that most other cities are probably even more diverse than they have been in the past. When you think that we have 80+ people moving to Nashville every day, you can only imagine that this diversity is going to increase. So we're particularly interested in getting more people of color, more teachers of colors in front of our children. Because as I mentioned, children can't be what they don't see. And if we can have more people teaching them that look like them, and that's not to diminish any of our current teachers, because all teachers are important. We just need to make sure as we have those opportunities to recruit, that we're recruiting more people of color, especially males and especially African American males.
That's interesting, because I just look at the school that my children attend, right? And there are very few men, period, in the school system, not just African American men, but men, period. So what is it, do you think? Has it just historically been a woman's job? And I don't like to say that, but you know, we see that high number of women who just become teachers. What has happened along the way that we've ended up with this sort of lopsided approach in our teacher force?
Well, I venture to say it's probably always been a little lopsided, but it's probably become even more lopsided. Because people are being encouraged to take other career avenues, go into business or self-employment or more lucrative types of work opportunities. Being a teacher is an honorable, career choice. To have an opportunity to make an impact on a child's life, and I get a little emotional about it, because if our children don't get a good education, it limits their life choices. If they don't know how to read, so much that we do day to day depends on being able to know how to read.
Basic skills, isn't it? In order to function.
Exactly. So, you know, we don't have enough of our children graduating reading at grade level. And if we can get more people of color involved in that, helping our children learn how to read early on and then maintaining that skill throughout high school, throughout elementary, middle, and high school, those kids will have a wonderful career. They'll be able to choose what they want to do. and not necessarily settle.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off
That's
there,
okay.
but some people may think a great teacher is a great teacher no matter what he or she looks like, right? But talk just a little bit about the true importance of those young faces in the classroom, being able to see somebody who looks like them from time to time in that important role as a teacher.
Well, there has been some research done, and I didn't bring a quote for you, but there is research that has proven that if a child is being taught by someone who looks like them, they are likely to perform better. That in itself is very powerful and a great motivator for people to consider education as a career choice. It's not going to be the highest paid position, but the rewards are invaluable.
That's the other thing I wonder, because is it just that Metro Nashville Schools is in search of more diverse teachers, or is there a shortage of teachers and you need teachers, period? So talk a little bit about the two challenges that you may have.
Sure. Definitely need those teachers of color, but what we're learning is that fewer people are going into education as a career choice in college. And as a result, the pool of available talent, teaching talent, has shrunk, but the nationwide need is still great. And we have different cities coming into Nashville, recruiting our teachers from our local colleges, paying them a sizable salary. But I have to say that they have a state income tax and we don't. Okay, so some of that's going to be taken away. But we just need to have more people, more of our school counselors talking about the career of teaching, because I think that's where there could be some real impact. If our school counselors are talking about career options for our children, and even our teachers talking about the career option of teaching, I think that's going to help us too, to steer more children into the teaching field. One of the things that we're going to be doing at MNPS is, if you're a high school student graduating from MNPS high school and going into education, we want you to come back to MNPS to do your student teaching. And we will guarantee you a job at MNPS at a premium.
Interesting. So a student will just say, hey, I'm going to major in education. In 4 years, I'm coming right back and I'm knocking on your door, Deborah Story.
That's what we want you to do. And come back home.
Yeah.
When we have our own high school graduates teaching our students, they're vested. They've been there. They're more vested in our kids. And I think that would be a wonderful thing if we could have even more of them coming back to teach.
That's a creative way of thinking about it, because I think about, for instance, in the medical field, when rural areas need doctors to come and work in those very small towns, and they will put that enticement out there, right? They say, okay, we'll pay for part of your medical school, or we'll pay for all of your medical schooling if you promise to come back and spend X number of years here. You've sort of taken that concept and twisted it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Any other creative ways of attracting people?
Well, yeah, we also recently implemented a sign-on bonus, because we have some specific disciplines that are really difficult to fill. One, because there are fewer of them and everybody needs them. Math teachers for middle and high school. Science teachers, that'd be biology, chemistry, physics. We also need English learners, teachers, and also our special education, or what I should say, exceptional education teachers. So those are 5 disciplines that I believe every school district needs. And with us being the largest one here in Middle Tennessee, our needs are great. So we found it necessary to implement some sign-on bonuses. And each of those disciplines, you would be eligible for the sign-on bonus, but you get the greatest amount. The bonuses start at $1,500, go up to $6,000. And the $6,000 bonus is for our most difficult to fill schools, like our priority schools, or those schools that the district deem appropriate to get that $6,000. And that payment is over 2 installments, a one-time payment over 2 installments.
Interesting.
So $6,000, $3,000 at one point in the year, the other three at another point in the year.
To make sure that you're going to be committed and stay there.
Yes.
Let's take a quick break, Deborah, and when we come back, I want to talk more about some of the efforts to bring those teachers in and what you're seeing so far as you're starting to bring those diverse teachers into your classrooms. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us.
Thank you.